This is John for the Everyday Fan Sports. I'm here on the beat. I've got my buddy, I've got a wrestling historian, author, writer, generally a great guy, John Cosper. How are you, sir?
I'm doing fine. How are you?
I am good. It's always good to talk to you about wrestling, but today we're going to start off talking a little bit of fiction.
Absolutely, yeah. Just released a brand new one actually yesterday. It just hit Amazon, and I've got pre-orders up. This is a story that's actually been, the fiction stuff for me goes back way before I was writing about wrestling. I really didn't start writing about wrestling until December 2012 was when I decided to write my first wrestling book. But and actually, really before that, I'd written a couple of fiction books, but really my aspirations were more towards making movies and writing screenplays. And I had a script that I started way back in, I calculated it, it's about 2004. The idea came up, and it was the original title of it was High School Sweetheart. Essentially, it's about a guy who, his high school sweetheart was really his best friend. They were best buds, and prom night they went to the prom together as friends. He was finally ready to tell her that how he really felt about her. Before he could do that, she just vanished, disappeared, not a trace. Her parents said, well, she had this opportunity come up, she had to go, and just getting ready to graduate anyway. Doesn't see or hear from her for 20 years. All of a sudden she comes back into his life, just out of nowhere, surprises him. He's divorced. He's got a daughter, and he's never, his students will tell you, he's never ever gotten over this girl. He's completely hung up on her. At one point, they give him the whole litany of how many times he's told them the story about the girl who got away. But strange things start to happen, and his students, who are the cream of the crop honors kids in the school, are like, they also have this thing for conspiracy theories and B movies and all this kind of stuff. They come to him like, you realize your girlfriend's the most wanted assassin in the world, right? And so there's this whole, it's a boy meets girl, boy loses girl, boy gets girl back, but she's got a lot of, not doesn't have baggage. She's got dead bodies in her bag. So the title of the book is Girl Most Likely to Kill You. It's available now on Amazon.com, or you can come and pre-order the paperback at deadparkbooks.com. If you order the pre-order the paperback, I'll also email you the ebook version of it. And in fact, the ebook versions of it is available on my website as well. And I've got a coupon code up there right now until October 31st. Use that coupon code and you save 20% off your whole order. So, check that one out. Check out Dead Park Books, some of the other Dead Park stories. And actually, I've got a couple more that'll be coming right behind them too. So,
Well, before we get to the couple coming back or coming ahead, this book, murder, or I'm sorry, mystery, romance, intrigue, horror, all of it.
little bit of not horror, a little bit of espionage, which is I think inevitable. It's funny because again, this story's been percolating for 18 years. It's gone through multiple revisions as a screenplay, and it was a year ago. There were three stories that were old screenplay ideas. I pulled them all out. I converted them all into novel form and into fiction form, and they're all coming out this fall. All three of those, and they've all been percolating for just about as long. I mean, one of them about 15 years, and the other is at least 18 years on the other two. But yes, some espionage, definitely some mystery to it. Romance, definitely humor. I mean, you're not going to read one of my books, you're not going to find some of that humor. So
I was going to ask about that because
yeah.
it's one of the trademarks of the Dead Park series is a little bit of quirky humor.
Yeah, my daughter's reading it right now, and she just texted me out of the blue. It's like, what in the world happened? To a certain character, and she's really sensitive to a lot of violent stuff. I was like, keep reading. It's not quite what you think, but definitely the humor's in there. There is a trigger warning. There is a puppy for about a page and a half. Puppy comes to a rather violent end, and that actually, a plot point about it is everybody blaming, even though it's not his fault. The main character gets blamed for it, for what happens to this puppy, and told you're going to get canceled. And he doesn't even know what it means because he's 38 years old. He's not into this kind of social media stuff, but everyone's, oh, I hear you killed a puppy this morning. So but yeah, definitely the quirky humor is, and the dark humor is definitely in it. It's funny. I took the family not too long ago. Weird Al Yankovic was in town. I went to see his concert, and hearing some of those old songs, hearing Melanie and You Don't Love Me Anymore, and The Night Santa Went Crazy. It's like this is where a lot of that dark sadistic it's Weird Al. So Weird Al was clean. There's never any language. There was occasionally some innuendo, but there was definitely a lot of violent humor in the Weird Al songs that I migrated towards. So
Oh, I see the connection. Sure.
yeah. My daughter's like, I understand you so much more after going to the sound.
So what could you tell us about the upcoming projects?
The next one coming out, and I should have it done, and I'm going to be firing it right up because it's Halloween time, and it really kind of fits. This one is called Zombies of Oz. It's yeah, it's a take on the old Wizard of Oz, but instead of having sweet little Dorothy Gale from Kansas, Dorothy's the juvenile delinquent niece of Uncle Henry and Auntie Em. Who gets sent from her, foster home in Detroit out to Kansas, hoping that will tame her. And then a violent, strange storm hits, and all of a sudden, the whole world turns into this post-apocalyptic zombie wasteland. The Scarecrow is a redneck, toting guns around and just trying to survive. The Tin Man is actually a cyborg, and our Cowardly Lion is a shell-shocked Army Ranger who just can't fight anymore. You've got a Wicked Witch character, you've got a wizard character, and everything like that. But again, just kind of a bonkers take on the Wizard of Oz, and more of the horror, and definitely more of the humor as well.
Any other projects in the offing that you could discuss?
Say third one coming out, and I'll probably wait till December on this one. Will be Dead Park Records. It'll be the third book in the Dead Park series. And this one's actually more of a thriller. It's more in line with Girl Most Likely to Kill You. Again, this was an old screenplay idea, just like Zombies of Oz and Girl Most Likely to Kill You were. And it was completely separate from the Dead Park universe. But I mean, Dead Park came together because they had these three completely separate stories all took place in an office building. I just brought them all together, gave them kind of a localized setting. It's really been kind of fun seeing old ideas come together, and an old, you know, just a lot of older influences coming together and finding a hole in this Dead Park universe. And this story really did. Dead Park Records is about it has a direct connection actually to the first book, Dead Park Plaza. It's a record company based in Dead Park Plaza. They're the A&R guy is on tour with one of their top artists, and he offers this local guy who just got kicked out of his band, and he feels like he's 29 years old. He feels like he's about to age out of this rock and roll dream. And this guy comes along and says, I'll give you a record contract if you kill somebody. And so it's a murder for hire type thing. If he goes out and kills this woman, no questions asked, has no idea who she is or why they want her dead, then he could have his record contract. So it's kind of a deal with the devil type thing. And there's a teeny bit of the supernatural comes into it at the end, but really more of it's kind of a horror, really more of a thriller than a horror. And something I think people it's definitely different for the Dead Park universe, but it also fits in really nicely. And you'll be happy to hear this too. Actually, the fourth Dead Park book is about a third of the way done too.
Nice.
There's another one coming behind it, and one or two more will be coming behind it as well. So again, this is just kind of a year and a half ago. The first book kind of came together, and partly inspired by a story that my dad had pitched me an idea of after having a dream, and then taking these two other stories about kind of horror, twisted story, dark stories that took place in an office building, and just kind of building this whole world. So for anybody who hasn't heard us talk before and everything, that deadparkbooks.com is where my fiction stuff is. And again, Dead Park Plaza is just kind of a compilation of short stories. They all take place in this four-story building, office plaza where strange things happen, some supernatural, some just violent and murderous. I actually recently posted a picture on Twitter of, I think Instagram, of the building that I used to work in 20 years ago, that I kind of had in mind for for it and everything. And the sequel, The Shops at Dead Park, is about the shopping mall, which is right next door. All of these buildings, and including the fourth book, is going to be Dead Park Estates, which is about the neighborhood right next to the mall, which is right next to the office plaza. They were all built on what was once a military munitions plant called Lead Park, where they stored and they packed munitions and things like that. And things were not on the up and up then. And there were some mysterious things that happened, and some of that stuff has spilled over into these new environments in the office building and in the mall and in the neighborhood. And it's again, it was just kind of bringing these ideas together. I never had any intention of writing more than just one book, and it's just kind of spiraled and grown into its own little sub universe, and it's a lot of fun to make connections and finding old ideas and finding things from my past. There's actually a story in the fourth book that it actually has roots back again within my family. About a doll with teeth, called Baby Kills a Lot, that my sister invented. She drew a picture of it. My father, for years at Christmas time, would come up with different things that would have Baby Kills a Lot on it, give it to Christmas. And the side effect of that was her second oldest son absolutely terrified of this doll growing up. I mean, he just lived in terror of this doll. So I recently went and found a photo of her, and which will appear in the book, and we'll finally tell her story. So
Any wrestling books coming out?
certainly, yeah. I'm actually working with three different guys. It's taken a while to kind of get to them. They've all got busy lives. They've all got things going on. Man Pondo and I are working on a second book. I'm working with Dean Hill, the voice of Ohio Valley Wrestling, and before that, the voice of the Louisville Gardens. I'm meeting with him this week, actually, to continue working on his, and also working with Gregory Iron from Cleveland, who a wrestler with cerebral palsy, has had an amazing career, is starting to go out and do some motivational speaking, and has a remarkable story of his own to tell. So yeah, we got those three going, and hopefully we'll see one of those by end of the year, and maybe the other two early next year. I've got some other things I want to get to, but I want to help these guys get their stories out there first.
Well, I know, Pondo's first book was incredible. So I imagine the second book is going to be, knowing Pondo as we all do. I'm pretty sure that's going to be just as tough to put a word on it. Insane, fun,
Yeah.
entertaining.
The fun thing about Pondo, I always like to say, is, of course, I did Kenny Starmaker Boland's book, and Kenny's is about 65-70% truth and 35% exaggeration, and good luck determining which ones are which. Then you read Pondo. If you were to read Pondo's book right after that, you would be like, oh yeah, he's pulling my leg here, he's exaggerating that. But Pondo will tell you the most outrageous story about sitting backstage after the Smashing Pumpkins Marilyn Manson concert, and he's sitting there talking with Billy Corgan. Marilyn Manson comes along and bets him $100. They're both going to put Vicks Vapor Rub in their tear ducts, and whoever tears up first is the loser. And here's the video, it's on YouTube, or here's the video of me pulling a tooth out of my mouth with a pair of pliers, or here's the photos of me eating a cheeseburger in front of David Blaine when he's up in a glass cage on a hunger strike, and he can't eat or drink for 60 days. So yeah, I mean, just any story he tells you, Pondo's going to back it up. So.
And he's really the coolest dude. He's down to earth. He will help anybody. He's a Pondo. I can't speak highly of. I've seen him in Resistance Pro back in the day. A complete veteran, just helping everybody as professional as could be. And it's so funny because the reputation, he's a madman, he does all this, yet he's like the most sane person before the show.
He's so laid back, he's so easygoing, he's very approachable. Loves on everybody. Friend to anybody who comes along. If he meets some new kid at a show and he thinks he's got potential, he'll give him his number. Call him up, say, hey, you doing anything this weekend? Pack your bag, I'm going to pick you up. You got to ride with me. Take him out and introduce him. I was just talking with Charlie McKenzie, the referee for OVW not too long ago, who works a lot with Girl Fight still. And that was how she really started traveling beyond her hometown of Louisville, was because of Pondo saying, hey, pack your bag, you're coming on the road with us this weekend. She met people and stuff, and I can't tell you how many guys he did that for. Chris Hero being one. Glenn Jacobs, Kane, when he was working out of St. Louis, Glenn Jacobs was on the road. He's got photos of Glenn Jacobs holding his kids when they were babies. So there's just a lot of guys that he helped out along the way, and not for the glory of it, not for the thanks of it, because he really doesn't get a lot of thanks of it.
No.
Chris Hero certainly is one guy who always makes time for Pondo, and always makes time to give back and thank him. But he just knows giving people, just like Tracy Smothers was, just like Princess Victoria still is. Don't know if you knew this or not. Princess Victoria is actually now promoting down in Oklahoma. Not promoting, but she's booking for a promoter.
Oh, wow, that's good.
She didn't have the financial skin in the game. She's certainly not doing that, but now she's starting to book some indie wrestlers and starting to help put together shows down there. That's somebody I would tell anybody who's, you know, an indie wrestler and looking for a place to go work or anything like that. That's somebody you want to get to know, you know, because Vicky's a lot like Pondo. She's a lot like Tracy, very positive, very encouraging. You know, when she was up here for Girl Fight, make sure that every girl who wanted it got feedback. Every girl who wanted it got her number, got her connected with Facebook. You know, just gives back, you know, to the younger wrestlers, and you know, just a good heart and a good soul. And when we're talking about these people, I'll put Bobby Blaze over again. You know, Bobby Blaze is out in Ashland, Kentucky, his hometown, and you know, just continues to pour himself into younger people, and to, you know, he's a great teacher and a great mentor. And you know, I've seen his students coming up, and I've seen the ones that listen to him and the ones that improve and work their way up. And you know, Judy Hendricks is already over there working at OVW, and I don't think it'll be long before we start to see Reese Ramon on some bigger promotions and stuff, and you know, moving out beyond that tri-state area out there. She's got to kind of got to stay where she's at a little bit, because she's a student at Marshall and she's majoring in engineering, and I can't remember what else, but so and plus she's a majorette in the marching band, but she keeps very busy. But you know, she's marching at the Marshall football game on Saturday, and she's wrestling Saturday night or Sunday night. So she's out there and hustling.
Well, I told you, I messaged you before. I finally saw Masha Slamovich.
Yeah.
Very impressed. She took a beating, and she gave a beating.
Yeah.
And I mean, she's not a huge girl either, or woman, I should say. She's not a huge woman, but she handled it.
Yeah, I saw her against Mickey Knuckles, and it was every bit as much of a, you know, I always talk about the rejects, Reed Bentley and John Wayne Murdoch. I've never seen Reed Bentley or John Wayne Murdoch wrestle. I've only seen them fight. And what I saw between Masha and Mickey that night was an all-out brawl. They took out my banner, you know, my big retractable banner and everything that I had behind me. You know, I think it was Mickey was trying to set Masha up for something, and Masha whipped Mickey into the banner. But and they're entertaining you the whole time too, you know, because, you know, Masha, of course, is sitting there screaming and yelling in Russian, and Mickey's like, I can't understand a word you're saying. So yeah, man, what a fight. I mean, you know, just you know, I think the world of Mickey anyway. If Mickey's on a card, go watch it, because you're going to be entertained. Mickey's going to put on a show. And yeah, I think I'm excited to see what Masha's doing up there at Impact. And I'm not surprised the opportunity she's getting, because, you know, the lady's talented. So waiting to see when somebody's going to pick up on Sawyer Wreck. I can't believe nobody has put her on television yet. Sawyer Wreck is a legit 6'2". She's a legit deathmatch wrestler. She's, you know, beautiful young lady. She moves with incredible grace and incredible athleticism in the ring. Just even the way she takes the ring. And she's got that smile on her face, this big, pretty smile that also just has this sadism behind it. It's like, I'm going to mess you up. You know, I love watching her work. And you know, somebody's going to make a lot of money off Sawyer Wreck as soon as they figure it out. That's all I got to say.
And if have you been to OVW of late, or anything new going on there?
I've been to OVW a bunch lately. The family schedule has shifted. My whole family is out on Thursday nights because my son's got School of Rock, and my daughter goes because she knows all the kids in the band and hangs out. They're gone about the time that I get off work, so I've been going to OVW just about every week, except when I was out of town for my day job. But man, I mean, OVW. I did a thing recently about, you know, just some reasons why you should go and check out OVW. There's a kid named Jay Malachi who I've seen at OVW as well as Paradigm Pro. He's 18 years old. Go watch this kid on YouTube. He is just unbelievably athletic. I think he's a superstar in the making. He's got to be 6'2", 6'3". You know, and kind of skinny still, but I mean, he is just solid muscle. And I mean, I think he's got a really bright future. Shalance Royal. Shalance Royal is really cool to me because back in the 1950s, there was a lady named Gloria Baratini who used to be an opera singer and became a pro wrestler. Shalance Royals followed the exact same path. She was a trained opera singer. She works heel at OVW. She sits there singing these high notes just to irritate the people. But man, she can wrestle. She's entertaining. She's a lot of fun to watch her work. Freya the Slayer was another one that I mentioned. Al Snow has suspended her, and I am part of that hashtag Free Freya on OVW. We need Freya back in there just because she's hit a couple of referees lately, you know, who, let's be honest, they had it coming, especially Aaron Grider.
Wait, am I seeing a heel turn with John Cosper?
I'm just saying, I like Freya. Hey, and the other ones I'm coming up with, The veteran Jack Vaughn. I don't know if you've seen his. He just got on TikTok. Um, Jack Vaughn is great. He is basically a throwback to you could have gone in a time capsule and grabbed some guy out of Memphis and brought him forward. He's Jack Vaughn. And his whole gimmick is kind of an anti-independent wrestler. He's got a TikTok where he just makes fun of indie wrestlers. It's hilarious. And I mean, a great entertainer too. He had a great match last week with Truth Magnum, which leads me to the other group that I mentioned in my article, which is the Outrunners, Truth Magnum and Turbo Floyd. Uh, these guys basically over the 8 weeks I've been going OVW, um, they've gone from being the guys everybody boos to the guys in the audience were cheering for, and the girls and the kids were booing, and now it's almost it's almost the majority are cheering them on. They come out, they look like somebody went in a time capsule and grabbed a tag team out of Championship Wrestling Florida early '80s and brought them forward. There's just loud mouths, and they're dirty cheaters, and they're and not playing fair and everything, and just constant entertainment while they're out in the ring. So there's a lot of other folks at OVW. I mean, we're checking out. There's of course Cash Flow and Dimes. Cash Money, the tag team. I've really become a big fan of watching Dimes work. Cash Flow, of course. Big, huge, hulking guy. And he had a great match with Turbo Floyd last week. Dimes is probably less than half of Cash's size, but the fun thing about Dimes, he dresses like Diesel. He steps over the top rope, even though he's maybe 5'2", 5'3", or whatever. He'll step on the bottom rope and then go over the top, and just carries himself like he's 7 foot tall, and carries it off believably. He's really fun to watch. But there's a lot of great. If you're not watching OVW on Fight, you can watch our weekly show. On Fight, it's streamed live for 2 hours every Thursday night, or you can watch the replay for free. I've definitely enjoyed it. It's been a lot of fun to over the years. I might go to OVW 2-3 times a year, just because life is just so busy, and there's just too much else to do. But getting to go weekly, and on the nights when I'm not able to go, I'll tune in on Fight, or I'll watch it the next day. And it's been fun to watch. It's OVW kind of have a reputation. It's the wrestling school. It's the Harvard of wrestling. It's still that, because Al Snow is I think probably one of the greatest teachers of pro wrestling that's out there. When he was a born teacher, he was born to be in that position. And the Al Snow Wrestling Academy is, I think any wrestler would do well to go there and learn from him. And anybody I talk to at Ohio Valley Wrestling tells me, how much they learn from Al. Even guys like Cash, and even Doug Basham, who's teaching the advanced class. Doug, has told me the things that he's learned just working from Al. But it's not a wrestling school, television program anymore. It's a territory. When your top guys are guys like Cash Flow and Turbo Floyd and Jack Vaughn. Jack's been wrestling for 18 years, and he's just recently hit on this gimmick that's just wonderful. And when you got Jesse Goddard feuding with Tony Gunn, both of whom have been around for ages, going way back to even to the developmental days of OVW, and when they were developmental for TNA back in the day. This is a wrestling territory, and they're putting on great shows every week. They're telling great stories every week. They're putting on great matches every week. Go back and watch. Last I don't know what day this is going to drop, but it would have been Thursday, September 22nd. Yeah, it would have been the 22nd. Watch the September 22nd episode. Jack Vaughn versus Truth Magnum, Cash Flow versus Turbo Floyd. Both those matches were just absolutely great. Really entertaining, a lot of fun. So it's worth going to check out.
Well, it's great to see, because Al is as you said, Al is a great guy. I just talked to him a couple of weeks ago promoting his comedy tour with David Vox-Mullen.
Awesome.
He's just such a great guy. Have you seen the new tag team with him and Cal Hero?
I saw pictures of it with the Rockers type gimmick.
That is hilarious.
That. So yeah, Cal is hugely over at OVW too. He's a big part of it. He was tagging last week with his old gimmick name escapes me, but I guess that's all for the best. Ryan Von Rocket, who I know is actually from Indiana, but all of a sudden he's got this English accent. He's got Ari Alexander at ringside with him with a tambourine, and he's still jamming on that guitar. But just entertaining as heck with that angle and the English accent and everything. And But man, Cal is hugely over down here at OVW, and definitely worth checking out.
Yeah, he's an up and comer. He's gonna go big. I've we've all seen him since he was a little guy running around the ring up in Wisconsin, but
Yeah,
he's got it all.
there's a lot of guys. Omar Amir is still at OVW, and is as big as he is, as good as he looks, and as good, much well as he wrestles. I'm like, not sure why somebody hasn't picked up on him either. So, but there's just a lot of talent at OVW that they keep coming here, and of course, Amazing Maria has really brought the women's division up multiple levels from what it used to be. So, it is certainly worth checking out. So, and they need to get Freya back in there.
Hashtag free
keep
Freya.
keep it hashtag free Freya. Yeah. Hey, speaking of women's wrestling, have you checked out WoW yet?
I have not checked it out yet. I'm gonna binge watch it.
Yeah, I say it's on. If you don't, if it's not on your local listings, you can't find it. And who watches a lot, TV when it airs? But Pluto TV, which is of course free on Roku. I don't know if it's probably free to watch on a browser, but I've been watching the first couple of episodes. I've already gotten to see Jesse James, aka Jesse Bell Smothers. Still waiting to see Maria and Haley as a tag team. I'm excited to see them. They've got Tessa Blanchard. They've got Santana Garrett. Really fun thing to me about it is, I was kind of had it on in the background, and listening to David McLean, it reminds me his commentary, the way he tells a story, the way he calls a match. It's like listening to McMahon back in the '90s during the
Oh wow.
Superstars era. That Saturday morning, he just has that enthusiasm, and and it's there's just enough old school, but there's just enough new school with it. That it's a fun hybrid in the mix. It's definitely not Glow. It's, I would say it's more comparable to like Impact with its production values and everything, but it's entertaining. It's a lot of fun. It's neat to see these ladies get these opportunities. Of course, Kiera Hogan's part of it. Katie Forbes is part of it. I don't know how long Santana Garrett's going to be on television, because I guess she's with WWE again as a trainer, yeah, they've got a great roster, and I'm excited to watch some more of it.
Well, I'll mention Women's Wrestling Army too. They just announced that they're going to have a second, another show coming up. I think at the end of October. That was another. If you can catch that on whatever platform, it was an amazing show.
I'll check
And I
it
know
out.
they're kind of releasing, I think, a match at a time or something like that. But every woman on that card, it was a phenomenal match. It was just I couldn't praise it more.
Awesome. I mean, I'm hearing rumblings of another girl fight show coming. Hopefully, Southern Indiana sometime soon. They had a good one over the summer, and they had one that was scheduled up in Michigan, and the guy who was putting it on got COVID last minute, and they had to cancel that one. But I think they're coming back. And then there's I don't want to speak out of turn. Hey, I'm going to speak about it. Whatever. Great concert promoter down here, a guy named Terry Harper. Actually, recently promoted a show with my son's band, my son's school rock band, Abstract Agenda. Was part of it. Opened up for Liliac, who was I think they were featured on America's Got Talent or something like that. But Terry every now and then will put on a wrestling show, and he will put on basically what amounts to dream matches for him, and they're outstanding. I mean, anytime I've been to a Terry Harper show, it's just been one great match after another. He's at Sandman, he's at Super Crazy, Jeff Jarrett, Congo Kong, Freight Train, MJF. I mean, MJF shortly after the first All In show. He wrestled. Who did he wrestle? He was Man Scout Jake Manning that night, which was a lot of fun. I actually sat next to MJF at the gimmick table that night, but and listened to him tell some guy, "No, I don't want you to buy my shirt. You're too fat."
He's hilarious.
Yeah,
He
but,
is about as old school as you can get.
he really is. Yeah, but I'm hearing rumblings. Terry Harper's got the itch, and he's going to put on another show. So if you're down here in Southern Indiana, so certainly watch my website, certainly watch my social media, because I'll be promoting the heck out of it. If Terry puts on a wrestling show, you got to come, because he's going to have some great matches, and some surprising combinations, and also some guys guys you've never heard of, some ladies you never heard of, but also some people you always wanted to see, but just never had the opportunity. So they're definitely worth checking out when it happens.
Cool. Well, before I let you go, John, once again, tell everybody where they can find your fiction, where they can find your wrestling, where they can find everything.
Sure. We'll start with this. Since we're talking wrestling right now, eatsleepwrestle.com is my website. You can find all my social medias on there as well, but that's where I've got Wahoo McDaniel, Chris Candido, Mars Bennett, the Black Panther, Jim Mitchell, Madman Pondo, Tracy Smothers, Princess Victoria, Louisville's Greatest Show, Bluegrass Brawlers, a story of professional wrestling in Louisville. I've got over 20 books by myself, by his Wrestling History of Mike Rogers. He's got 3 books out on my website. Chris Michaels, who wrote his own biography, autobiography, is up there as well. Come, buy direct from us. We get a little bit more money when you buy direct. The wrestlers get a little bit more money. So eatsleepwrestle.com is the place to find those books. And if you want to check out the fiction, it's deadparkbooks.com. I am running a coupon special. If you use the coupon code FALL, you can save 20% off your order now through Halloween. Just released Girl Most Likely to Kill You. I am soon to release, and it may be out by the time this video gets released, Zombies of Oz, kind of a humorous horror take on the Wizard of Oz. The 3rd Dead Park book will be out in December. So if you want to catch up on those, Dead Park Plaza and the shops at Dead Park, those are on the website. Die Allen Dies on the website. A great sci-fi kind of a thriller. The Big Bad Goodnight, which is my noir fairy tale short story collection. A lot of kind of different stuff. So yeah, deadparkbooks.com, eatsleepwrestle.com. I am at John Cosper on Twitter. I think I'm at John Cosper Author on Instagram. And you can find Dead Park Books, and you can find Eat Sleep Wrestle on Facebook as well.
Well, I will be buying both books that are coming out this week. You know me. I mean, I love your books.
I appreciate it, man.
I got several of them. I got several of them on bookshelf, and I'm growing it as we speak, and I enjoy them all. And I encourage everyone to check out Eat Sleep Wrestle, check out deadparkbooks.com, check them both out, and no matter what you like, you're gonna find something there because there's so much good stuff there. John, I appreciate your time, man. It's always good catching up with you.
Hey, always good to catch up with you as well. Go Bears.
You have a great night, buddy.
You too, man. See you.